Last summer, I wiped out a 4-year aphid and ant infestation in my brassica bed in just 9 days, using a powder I grabbed off a grocery store shelf for less than $2. 4 years. Neem oil, insecticidal soap, hand picking, even a ladybug release. Nothing stuck. Then I dusted off something the old timers knew about, something that's been quietly buried under a century of commercial pesticide marketing, and the colony that had been destroying my bed every single spring was gone in under a week. Here's what stopped me cold when I dug into this. That same powder has been used for pest control for over 1,000 years, traced back to Tibetan borax miners in the 8th century. And yet today, it's been quietly restricted or heavily regulated for outdoor garden use in 19 states, buried in pesticide registration rules that most backyard growers never even hear about. Today, I'm walking you through exactly how I use this $2 pantry powder to take down ants, aphids, roaches, earwigs, squash bugs, and cutworms without poisoning your soil or touching your beneficial insects. And stay with me to the end, because I'm going to share one old addition to the base recipe that I pulled from Tibetan trade records that roughly tripled my results. Almost no one talks about it.
Before we get into it, if you're new here, welcome to Hidden Harvest Vault. Hit that subscribe button right now, because every week I'm pulling forgotten growing knowledge back out of the dark and putting it to work in real backyard beds. You don't want to miss what's coming. Now, I didn't arrive at this quickly. For nearly 2 decades, I fought garden pests the same way most people do. I sprayed, I trusted whatever was stocked at the garden center. When that stopped working, I went fully organic and hit everything with neem oil every 5 days. I still lost whole crops to squash bugs, lost a gorgeous row of kale 3 summers straight to aphids. If you've been stuck in that loop, spending money, watching it wash off in the next rain, starting over, I'm not judging you. I was you. What broke the cycle was a 1948 agricultural extension bulletin I found in a used bookstore in central Pennsylvania. It mentioned boric acid bait the same way we now talk about drip irrigation, like it was obvious, standard, something every gardener just knew. That bulletin sent me deep into research I wasn't expecting, and what I found completely changed how I run my garden.
The history. Why it matters. Here's the short history, and I promise it matters for how we actually use this. Borax was being pulled from dry lake beds in Tibet as far back as the 8th century. Traders hauled it across the Himalayas into Persia, then into Europe, where it was used for everything from preserving meat to cleaning textiles to killing insects. By the 1800s, Death Valley deposits were being refined into boric acid, a finer, more concentrated form of the same mineral. Then in the 1940s and 50s, research teams at Purdue and the USDA ran field trials. What they found, boric acid at just 1 to 5% concentration in a sugar bait eliminated entire ant colonies within 7 to 10 days. It works by disrupting the insect's digestive tract and breaking down its exoskeleton from the inside. And because it's a mineral, not a synthetic nerve agent, insects cannot build resistance to it. So why don't we hear about it? Boron is a soil micronutrient, but in large concentrations it can accumulate and harm plants. Regulators worried about farm-scale misuse quietly pulled outdoor pesticide registrations across 19 states. The product stayed legal for indoor use, but the garden knowledge, the stuff those old extension bulletins taught, got buried. Home gardeners using teaspoons were never the problem.
Drop a comment right now and tell me, what pest has wrecked your garden the most? Aphids? Squash bugs? Ants? I read every single one, and I'll tell you exactly where this fits into your situation. The methods, step by step. All right, let's get into exactly how I use this. First, know which powder you're buying. There are 2 that people confuse constantly, and mixing them up will cost you your results. Borax is sodium tetraborate, the green and white box in the laundry aisle. Boric acid is the refined version, finer, purer, sold for ant and roach control in hardware stores and online. For garden pest work, you want boric acid. A 1-pound container runs about $2 and will carry you through 3 full growing seasons in a backyard garden. Look for 99% boric acid, technical grade, plain white powder.
Method 1. The sugar bait, your most powerful tool. This is the method that cleared my brassica bed, and it works because it targets the farmer, not just the crop. Here's what most gardeners miss. Ants farm aphids. They relocate them, shield them from predators, and harvest their honeydew. Kill only the aphids you see, and the ants will restock within days. You have to collapse the colony. Here's my exact recipe. 1 cup warm water, 3 tablespoons white sugar, dissolved completely, 1 teaspoon of boric acid, stirred in until it disappears. That's a 1% solution, low enough that worker ants carry it back to the nest before it affects them. That's what reaches the queen. Soak cotton balls in the mixture. Place them in shallow lids. Peanut butter jar caps work perfectly. Set them along the ant trail, tucked under a rock or scrap of wood to protect from rain and keep curious hands and paws away. 3 to 4 stations per raised bed. Within 48 hours, you'll see a surge in ant traffic at those stations. That's not a failure. That's your signal it's working. They're hauling it home. By day 7 to 9, the trails go quiet. And once the colony is gone, aphid populations collapse fast.
Predator pressure. Method 2. The dry dust. For squash bugs, earwigs, cucumber beetles, and cutworms hiding at the base of stems, I use the powder directly. A 1/4 teaspoon dusted lightly around the base of the plant. Never on leaves, never near blooms where pollinators work. A narrow-tip squeeze bottle gives you the precision you need. The powder sticks to insect exoskeletons, disrupts their outer waxy layer, and causes dehydration over 24 to 72 hours. Targeted placement. No broad-spectrum damage to your soil life or your beneficial insects. Night and day difference from what a conventional spray does to your garden ecosystem. Reapply after heavy rain. In a full growing season, I dust maybe 4 or 5 times total.
Method 3. The perimeter barrier. Around the outside of each raised bed, I lay a thin, dry line of boric acid, roughly 1/8 of an inch wide, about 2 inches in from the frame. Ants, slugs, and earwigs pick it up crossing the line, and they're done before they reach your plants. 1 pound covers the perimeter of roughly 8 4x8 beds. Keep the line dry, apply on a clear morning, and reapply after any rain over a 1/4 inch. In warmer zones, 7 through 10, where ant pressure is year-round, reapply every 3 to 4 weeks. In cooler zones, 3 through 6, 1 application in spring and 1 at midsummer usually handles it. Method 4. Protecting your soil. This is where people get themselves into trouble. Boron is a micronutrient your vegetables actually need, but only in tiny amounts. Too much causes yellowing, stunted growth, and in serious cases, plant death. The rule I never break: boric acid never gets worked into the soil, ever. It goes on top, in baits, around perimeters. It does not get tilled in. Following that rule, the total boron reaching your soil in a full season is a fraction of a teaspoon spread across an entire bed, well below any threshold.
That affects plants' health. Method 5. Protecting your beneficial insects. Keep bait stations away from flowering plants. Never dust anything in bloom. Work at dusk or early morning when pollinators aren't active. Cover your bait stations with a rock, a tile, or an upturned pot with a small entry notch so bees can't wander in. I want to pause here for just a second because what I'm walking you through today is one piece of a much larger system. Everything I've learned in 30 years of backyard growing, soil biology, strategic pruning, companion planting, succession schedules, the science behind why each method actually works, I put into a book called The 30-Day Maximum Yield Protocol. 115 pages,
designed specifically for gardeners with existing beds who just want more out of them. People have used it to roughly double their harvest from the same square footage. No new beds, no expensive equipment. All right, back to it, because the best part is still ahead. Let me walk through the mistakes I see most often, because I made every single one. Mistake 1. Spraying aphids without touching the ants. You knock down what's visible, feel good, and they're restocked in 4 days because the colony never went anywhere. Always go after the farmer first. Mistake 2. Using borax instead of boric acid. People grab the laundry box, mix it at way too high a concentration, and kill the workers before they can carry it back. The colony survives. You want slow. 1%, not 10%. Mistake 3. Over-application. This is lost knowledge. The old bulletins gave exact doses, and when they went out of print, people guessed. Dumping tablespoons around a tomato plant will hurt that plant. Precision matters with minerals. Mistake 4. Applying before rain. Boric acid needs to stay dry to work as contact dust and as a barrier. Check your forecast.
The bonus? Molasses trick. Now, here's what I promised you at the start. When I was digging through old Tibetan borax trade records, I kept finding references to a paste the traders used. Not plain borax and water, but borax mixed with unrefined cane sugar. In India, they call it jaggery. The closest easy substitute in North America is blackstrap molasses. Here's what I do now. To my standard bait, 1 cup warm water, 3 tablespoons sugar, 1 teaspoon boric acid, I add 1 tablespoon of blackstrap molasses, stirred until dissolved. Why does it work? Ants and roaches are drawn to complex sugars and trace minerals far more powerfully than to plain white sugar. The molasses makes the bait roughly 3 times more attractive. In side-by-side tests I ran in my own yard, colonies that took 9 or 10 days to collapse on the standard bait were done in 5 or 6 days once I added the molasses. Your bait station will be emptied by sundown instead of sitting untouched for 2 days. That 1 tablespoon is the difference between a bait that works and a bait that dominates.
Here's where I want to leave you. Everything I walked you through today, the sugar bait, the dry dust, the perimeter line, the molasses addition, that's one chapter of how I run Hidden Harvest Vault's approach to a clean, productive garden. Last summer, that brassica bed, the one I'd been losing every spring for 4 straight years, gave me the heaviest kale harvest I've ever pulled off a 4x8 space. $2, a cotton ball, a spoonful of molasses. That's it. If you want the full system, the soil biology, the pruning cuts that push real yield, the companion planting that keeps pests down before they start, the succession schedules that keep a bed producing from April through October, it's all inside the 30-day maximum yield protocol. 115 pages, $17. Link is in the description. And before you go, smash that like button if this gave you something useful. Subscribe to Hidden Harvest Vault so you don't miss the next one, because I've got methods coming that most gardeners have never seen. And drop a comment below. What pest is giving you the most grief this season? I read every comment. I'll point you exactly to what's worked for me. See you in the next one.